And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We'll take a few minutes here. Welcome to the Computer Science Preview Day session. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon or morning or whatever time it is where you are. My name is Lucas Mancini. I'm an assistant registrar from the Dalhousie Registrar's Office. We're just going to wait a minute here while we wait for everyone to join the session, get through the proverbial front doors. While we're waiting, feel free to say in the chat where you're watching from. But yes, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague from the Faculty of Computer Science, Amanda. Amanda, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Kolwich, and I am the Undergraduate Recruitment and Community Engagement Manager for the Faculty of Computer Science. At some time or another, you might have received emails from me or checked in with me about questions that you might have had already about the Faculty of Computer Science. So it's nice to meet you guys. You can see me, but I can't see you, unfortunately. And I'm very pleased to introduce I'll be introducing all of our panelists today, as well as moderating some of our panels. And are we ready to go, Lucas? Can we start everything off?
Yes, that's right. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Lucas Mancini. I'm from the Registrar's Office. Thank you again for joining us for Preview Days. And keep in mind, you can check out all the Preview Days content on the website as well at dal.ca/preview days. There's been content all day besides this presentation. But yep, we're ready to go.
Okay, perfect. This is the Dean of the Faculty of Computer Science. His name is Dr. Rao Chaplin. Unfortunately, he was supposed to come and speak with you today and welcome you all to the Faculty of Computer Science. However, he has had a family emergency. So we have the next best thing, which is Dr. Christian Bluen. And he is going to be welcoming you and talking about some of the highlights that we've seen this year from the Faculty of Computer Science. Take it away, Christian.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. So I am the closest thing to a dean. I am the near dean. My position is associate dean. So I'm a professor in computer science, but I also take care of things like programs, teaching students, teaching assistants, and so on. Most welcome to our faculty. We're small but fierce at Dalhousie. And a lot of things are going on in the faculty. So we've got a couple good news here. You may have heard, if you're Nova Scotian, if you're not from Nova Scotia, I suspect it didn't make it that far. But the provincial government announced a $13.3 million going directly to Dalhousie. It's almost and 16 million, I think, for Atlantic Canada. So we're getting really the majority of the funding, and the goal is to help Nova Scotia to be this high-tech hub that Atlantic Canada has transformed into in the last 5 to 10 years. There's a lot of things going on in Nova Scotia, lots of employers who want our graduates to stay and work in Nova Scotia, having great tech position, whether it's in the high-tech sectors, whether it's entertainment, social media, or banking, or all sorts of industry that you don't necessarily think of when you're thinking about university. We also, the winner of the Top Co-op Student Award of the Year went to a computer science student, Liam Hibbert. Co-op is a staple in our programs. I would say about 60% of our students are doing co-op. It's an amazing opportunity to try 3 times 14 weeks to work in different environments, whether that becomes where you start your career or where you realize this is really not for you and you want a different kind of work. Co-op is a really great opportunity for this. And we also wanted to highlight the vibrant group of professors that we have in the faculty. Dr. Rita Orji is a research superstar in computer science. She does a lot of things where she explores how using mobile technology and apps to help people have better life habits, whether it's to stop smoking or safe sexual practices. Rita works really at the interface between humans and machine, and that's really exciting stuff. And now, Amanda, you can switch slide. And I think this one is for Alex, so I will pass the microphone to my colleague, Dr. Brodsky.
Hello, my name is Alex Brodsky. I'm an instructor here in the faculty. I'm also the curriculum chair. So what I get excited about is our programs and the reason the students come here. So we have two different degree options for students. One is a Bachelor of Computer Science, and the other is a Bachelor of Computer Science, and I'll speak to those in just a moment. We also have a large number of faculty who are very caring and who are very experienced, and I'm really proud to say that when COVID hit this last year, we did an amazing job of going from in-person to online, and I was really, really proud of all of us. We also have a great co-op program. Like Christian said, we have 60% of our students are in co-op. The amazing thing is we have a 97% co-op job placement rate. So basically, if you want a job, you want to be in co-op, we can place you. And lastly, we have a great supportive environment. So we ensure that students have support both from the social and academic supports. So we provide a learning center, we have a computer science student society, and we ensure that all our students feel at home in our faculty. Next slide, please. So one of the most common questions that I get asked is, what's the difference? What are the two degrees that we have? So we have two major undergraduate degrees, the Bachelor of Computer Science, or the BCS, and the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, which is the BACS. And the most common question is, well, what's the difference? Well, the Bachelor of Computer Science focuses or trains you to become an innovator, a creator, somebody who wants to create new technologies, new algorithms, new kinds of programs. So the courses include programming courses, there's a mathematics, there's a lot of depth in computer science in various disciplines such as artificial intelligence, NHCI, graphics, etc. And we really try to support a culture of design, innovation, and coding. And what has come out of this is we have great problem solving skills, great design analysis, and coding ability. Then we also have the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, and the focus there is on essentially bridging the gap between technology and business. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that the graduates of this program have a great ability to understand organizations, understand their needs, to understand the clients, and then identify technologies which they need to solve the client's problems and make those things happen. So on one side, the BCS, you're creating new technologies. With the BACS, you're applying existing technologies to solve the problems that today's and tomorrow's organizations have. So the courses in the BACS also include programming, management. They have a breadth of computer science and management courses, and there's a strong focus both on courses outside of computer science and as well as management courses to ensure that the graduates understand the organizations that they're going to be helping to use and leverage new technologies. So key skills include things like problem solving, communication, coordination, project management, and organizational excellence. Next slide, please. So the other very common questions I get asked is, well, do we get to program in both degrees? And what I love to tell students is that the software development portion is common to both degrees. So regardless of whether you're in the BCS or the BACS, you get the same programming, the same software development courses and skills, irrespective of which program you're in. The BACS has more management courses. The BCS has more math courses, but the software development, which is one of the major tools in computer science, is the same for both degrees. And at this point, I will turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Siegel.
That's great. Thanks, Alex. So on our team, we have many great people. We've got a full set of really caring and experienced faculty that are ready to help you throughout your degree. My name's Dr. Angela Siegel, and I'm the program director for our Bachelor of Applied Computer Science. So within our region, we're one of the leading CS programs in the Maritimes. We're part of the top 15 research universities across Canada, and we have a strong research program with industry links, and we have award-winning instructors on our team, 3M teaching fellow, and various other aspects. So if you're interested in learning about some advanced topics within computer science, we have world-class research groups among us. So there's research taking place in machine learning and artificial intelligence, networks, systems and cybersecurity. We have a human-computer interaction group, and we even explore areas that cross over to other topics like bioinformatics and health. We also have a new research group looking at computer science education and looking at how we choose to educate within computer science. Next slide. While you're in your degree, you have an option to take a co-op placement. And within computer science co-op, what happens is you complete your first 2 years of study, and then you have this opportunity to work while you're approaching your degree. So you would take one work term and alternate between taking classes, working within a co-op throughout your third and fourth year. And this is such a great experience because it really gives you that real world advantage. You gain experience while you're studying, you earn real money while you're doing this. And our co-op students are highly sought after. We have a 97% placement rate and over 1,300 jobs that are posted that would be available to you. So within one semester, the income is $10,000. So you're actually making a living while you're studying your degree. And I think really important to note is that we have a very supportive environment. So those of us that are on the panel, we care about students. So before you get to campus, there are a lot of people that you'll get to know. Amanda is one of them. You may have already received emails from her. But while you're there, during your undergraduate degree, we have academic advisors ready to support you, an assistant dean of students, undergraduate students that is ready to assist you with any issues that you might run into, just personal matters throughout the course of time. We have alumni and engagement officers. We've got a learning center that's there and available to you, staffed by our own students. We have amazing TA support. We're there with you throughout the process, even once you graduate, and we help with graduate recruitment and career development. I think at this point, I'm going to pass it back to Kristen. Is that correct?
Sure, why not?
Christian, do you have any last thoughts about this before we hand it over to our student panel?
No, Angela and Alex did an amazing job. So I think it's great to hear from our students.
Perfect. It means we get a little bit longer with our students, which I think is what everyone came here for, to kind of understand the student experience. So I'm going to ask our 3 student panelists to unmute and to turn on their camera, and our faculty members to turn off their camera and mute themselves. Okay, I see one of our panelists up. Okay, yes, I see all 3 now. Perfect. So welcome to our student panel. I'm going to be moderating it, but what I'd like to do first is have our students introduce themselves. So maybe we'll go in order of the students on the panel point on the PowerPoint. So Nicola, do you want to start by saying your name, the program that you're in, and what year you're in, or just finishing rather?
For sure, Amanda. So my name is Nicola. I just finished my first year in the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science program.
And Saul?
Hello, my name's Sahil. I'm a BCS student. I'm in my 3rd year and I'm an international student as well. Yeah, thanks.
And last but not least.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yara. I just finished my 2nd year in my Bachelor's of Applied Computer Science, and I am an international student from Egypt.
Perfect. So yeah, I was a little worried we wouldn't have as much time as we wanted to get through as many questions as we wanted, but we have 45 minutes to chat. So I think first I would love to ask you guys, what was the reason that you wanted to do a computer science or Bachelor of Applied Computer Science degree? And as well, before you came to this degree, did you have any like tech background, programming, coding background at all? I'll throw it to, I mean, Nicola, you're the freshest student here. You just finished your first year. So, and this memory is probably the most fresh for you. So why don't you take that question away first?
For sure. So I came to Dal with a little bit of programming background. Back in high school, I took one programming course just to kind of try it out. I had absolutely no experience prior to that, and so I really enjoyed that course. And I still was very indecisive about what I wanted to do after high school. And so I actually attended one of these preview days maybe 2 years ago now, which makes this really a cool, really incredible experience for me to now be here as a panelist. But that's kind of how I decided to come to Dal for computer science through this panelist, or sorry, this preview day. Yeah, so that's kind of my story behind why I chose Dal, especially with the Applied Computer Science program, which is very unique to this university. I saw that as a really great opportunity, and it has presented me with a lot of amazing opportunities along the way.
Great. Yara, do you want to take this one next?
Sure. So personally for me, going into this degree, I had absolutely no knowledge on anything coding or computer science. And I went into it just completely, I knew nothing, and I just liked math. So I thought, oh, I like math. I might as well go into computer science and see what happens. And it was very scary, but turns out I actually enjoy it a lot. And I'm very glad that I did go into computer science. And the other thing that I do want to point out is it's scary going into the degree when there are a lot of people who do have knowledge in computer science and who do know how to code. And I'm here with like no experience at all. But the way the program is designed, I found that I was able to learn and pick up on all the concepts just as fast as anyone else. And by the end of first year, we're like all on a level playing field where we all know the same stuff and we all can code and we can all make programs and we can all do all of these cool things. And so even though I was very scared in the beginning, it was great. I learned so much and I continue to learn today. And yeah.
And last but not least.
Yeah, no, I think Nicola and Yara pretty much hit it on the point. Yeah, it's not necessary to have any computer science background experience when you walk in to Dal. There's place, everyone comes in through the same road and we come out the same end. So I think I did have some computer science experience, but that didn't really change what I had to learn here. And even though you do have computer science experience, it doesn't change what you learn.
Well said. Okay, I think especially this year, we've learned more than ever that connection is a huge part of the university experience. And this year with COVID, we were obviously unable to meet in person for classes. I'd love to hear about some ways that you've made connections in this program. I know a few of you are part of society life. Some of you might even be outgoing VPs of societies. And we have 2 different societies, but also how did you connect with your classmates, and especially working on things like group projects and things like that? Maybe I'll start with the outgoing VP himself.
All right, now, so I am the Vice President External. I'm basically done by the end of this month for the Computer Science Society. And when I joined the Computer Science Society was last summer when, everything was going into online, and, it was a tough time, like the first summer to, move everything online and try to still keep that essence of, events and getting to people get to know each other. And it turned out that, online events do tend to take a swing where not many people are interested, but we've tried our best. And the main purpose of a student society is to, get your connections in your first year. And, you're coming in, some of us have friends when we come here, but it's a very rare thing that, you're going to come in with a whole group of friends already. So I think the societies really play a big role in finding, upper year students who you can ask questions to, or just general involvement tactics and stuff, I guess. But in the long run, online societies, like the online events for our societies, have been a very big part this year, because that was the only way you could get to know people who are in the university. And I think, that's the role we've tried to fill this year.
Great. Yar, do you want to comment anything about how you make connections at university during, any normal year, but even as well this year?
I definitely agree with Saf when he was talking about, all the society stuff. That's definitely like the main way to really get to know people in your program and get involved and make friends and so on. And that's what I've done. Like, I've attended a bunch of the events that the Women in Technology Society plans or holds, and that has been great because I'm able to meet a bunch of different people in the program, but also like be exposed to very cool events and make connections that aren't just students. So sometimes they'd have events where they bring in people from industry, and then you get to make those like professional connections that are also very important. And then on, when school is like normal and we have like things in person, I feel, you can either volunteer and meet people that way, or if you're going to study, you can always go to the Learning Center, which is a place where you can study in the Goldberg Computer Science building. And that's like a great way to meet people, find people who are working on the same assignment, and like make friends and make study buddies, and that's all really great. But yeah, overall, it's just societies, getting involved on campus, volunteering, going to the actual computer science building, and yeah.
Nicola, what about you? This is your first year. So you've had an entire year of learning in a COVID environment. So how have you made connections with your cohort, your classmates, your other people within the program?
Right, and really I can only speak on the online experience, so it's really interesting to hear about what life is like in any normal year at Dal on campus. I was fortunate enough to be in residence the whole year. And so I met a few of my classmates through residence who are also living in Halifax, but mostly actually through a mentorship hosted by the Women in Tech Society. I met an upper year student who then connected me to other members of the same society. And so I hung out with them a lot, and I was able to ask them questions and kind of almost have a group of mentors in a way. And I think that really provided me with some upper year computer science students that I will be friends with for a long time, and we'll have that connection for a while.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to ask the question that I think most students tend to ask me in my email inbox, and it's about co-op. So I know that both Yar and Nicola have applied to co-op because they're in that part of their year where they're looking towards doing co-op in their upper years. But Sally, you've been on co-op. Are you still working right now currently, I think?
Just a week to go.
Just a week to go. So can you tell me about what you found valuable about this co-op work term that you've just done? And maybe where were you working?
All right, for sure. So, you've probably heard Dr. Alex and Dr. Angela, Dr. Christian about all of the numbers about co-op. So from a student's experience, I'll tell you what, the real experience is. So I currently work at MNP. It may sound like an accounting firm for those of you who do know it, but they have a technological solutions department of about 400 people across Canada. So I was in that team, and really co-op is not about just going in and learning how to code. It's more of like three main points of focus. Like, there's a lot of other things that you learn through it. Well, the first thing I think is most important is like the actual experience of being in a work environment. We go to like university, you learn how to code, you take your classes. That's the first step of everything, right? You actually go into a work environment, you learn how to, how to deal with people, you learn how to fit into a workplace where you're really new at. And that's the real experience to me for co-op. And I believe, of course, learning how to work and learning how to apply what you learn in class outside class is also a great part. But I guess that's what I have to say about co-op, is that it really puts you through the door of how your life would be after you graduate. That's what I took away from it.
I think that's awesome. I think co-op definitely helps you hone some of those soft skills that aren't taught in the classroom. It's the actual like interaction of a workplace, because the classroom environment, while you learn a lot, is very different from what it'll be like once you graduate. So I think it's great. Yara and Nicola, you guys are in the like application stage. Nicola, you're kind of just in the first inquiry sort of part of the co-op process, and Yara, you're applying for your jobs. I'd love to hear, maybe Nicola, why don't you start about kind of how you've been handling the process and what supports you've gotten, and then maybe we can follow up with Yara about the how the job hunt is going.
Yeah, so far I don't have too much to say. I've filled out the application, which was a very simple process, which is good news, I would think. But as for the supports I've gotten along the way, I talk to an academic advisor frequently. I find they're really supportive and super friendly. They really are a lot of help, especially in the beginnings where I'm still trying to figure out the details of my degree. But as for the application process for co-op, it was very straightforward and yeah, very simple.
I definitely agree with Nicola in terms of how supportive our advisors are, especially like within co-op. With my co-op journey, I guess, and the job hunt, my advisors have been super supportive. If I ever need like to do a mock interview, or if I need my resume to be looked over, or if I need anything of that sort or anything of that help, I go to them, and they're always super supportive. They're super happy to help. And as for the actual job application process, I am happy to say that I have landed a co-op job, which is exciting. But in that process, like I said, the advisors were very supportive, but it also does take a lot of work. And I think it was a very valuable experience for me, because seeing how much work it takes to actually land a job, that kind of prepares you for the real world, because once you graduate, you have to go through that process. And I'm glad that I got the opportunity to go through that process so early in my career. So then once I do graduate and want to land those actual jobs, I have that experience to look back on and learn from. And also with co-op, it's exciting because if you like end up doing well with a co-op and you actually like the job that you were put in, you often end up working for that company afterwards. So then you also have a job secured right after graduation, which is great, and an advantage that we have over students who don't do co-op. So
yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations, because that's an update from last week. So congrats on your new job. And I agree. I think this is also a great opportunity for students to explore different fields, especially if they're not 100% sure where they want to end up after their degree is done, this is a chance for you to look at 3 different jobs, potentially 3 different companies. Some students might work for the same company throughout their co-ops, but I have heard many success stories of students who completed the co-op program and then were hired from their co-op program. So that's great. While we're talking about jobs, I recognize that university can be an expensive venture. And I know that a few of you are working while you're at school. So why don't we start? We just heard Yara, so why don't we start with the gentleman on the call, because he has many hats. He wears many hats in the field of working on campus. So could you tell us about a few of your positions and also maybe how that adds to your degree and your experience here at university?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the jobs I work as is a teaching assistant, so a TA. My job is basically to help professor go through labs or run them and do assignment markings. It really adds on to the experiences because you take a course and sometimes you tend to forget what you go through over the years. But being a TA really helps you keep up your skills of talking to people, develops the communication. You have to teach, you have to go explain an idea maybe to some 40 students in 30 different ways. It really helps you, put something on your CV. And the base of like computer science is, you're not going to be working your whole life sitting behind a computer and coding. It's going to change. It's going to do many things. So I think the communication you build while you explain is a very big asset towards how you graduate or how many jobs, like I guess how you move forward. Another one of my jobs is at Shift Key Labs. So it's more of a provincial like sandbox where, we create business ideas, we create a lot of things. There are events, they teach you how to do things outside class. Like last week we have mentorship workshops where we teach people how to build resumes, or just people come and talk about like how they've got into a position, or workshops which might teach you a different skill that you don't necessarily learn in class. So I run, like, I'm an assistant in the lab, so I just help out in these events or run a few programs. So yeah, that's what I've been doing besides my studying. So it really, well, I guess the experience plus it also gives you a nice amount of money to go through your expenses, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can relate. I definitely had to work while I was going through university too. So it definitely helps. It definitely helps with like the rest of your expenses as well. I work a little bit more closely with Yara with the position that she holds, though.
So yes, referring to what Amanda said, earlier this semester, I was hired as the Student Engagement and Outreach Assistant within the Faculty of Computer Science. And what that entails, I guess, is working with students and working with, engagement, social media. That's kind of what I do with Amanda. And then I work with other people in the faculty to plan events. I work with societies like the Women in Technology Society and the Computer Science Society, and I've loved the job. It's provided me with a lot of opportunity, and I've made many connections, and I've met a lot of great people through it. And with saying that, there are a lot of opportunities on campus. So with that job as well, last semester I did something else where I worked with the newly launched program Together at Dal, which was made for the virtual environment to get help first year students, adjust easier to the university environment. And so I mentored students for 4 months doing that online. And then I was also a residence assistant. So then that was kind of the same thing, but in person. So I got to make all those connections in person and get to meet so many first year students this year, which has been great. And all of that obviously has helped very well financially and has helped pay a lot of my tuition, a lot of my expenses, and so on. So in terms of opportunity, there's always so much that you can do. And I've loved that about Dal.
Yeah, I think it's Yara's been really great to work with. We're about to launch a very awesome social media project in the summer. So I'm very excited to work with her. Okay, I think let's move on to something a little fun. Nicholas, since we haven't heard from you in a little bit, can you tell me what your favorite class was that you took this year?
Yeah, so my favorite class I think would have to be Intro to Programming, I guess it's called, CSI 1105. That was just a nice, gentle introduction to Java, if you know programming languages a little bit. I had prior experience with Python, and so Java was a little bit new for me. It was a whole lot of fun. The assignments were very intriguing and engaging. I learned a lot from that class, and there's kind of a part 2 to that class that I'm taking this summer, and so I am very excited to develop my programming skills.
Awesome. Okay, what about you, Saul? Any class you took at all?
Yeah, I've been through a lot of classes. So I think two of my favorite classes would be software dev and, well, data structures and algorithms. It's where really the base of computer science is, and that's what usually you end up doing on a daily basis. So I think those are two important classes that I really like.
Were those second year, third, or
Yeah, sorry, they're second year classes. Yeah, both of them.
something to look forward to for everyone? What about you, Yara?
So I agree with Sahal about the data structures and algorithms course, just because that's like an essential course to take, and it's very important when you do get hired for jobs. But also, I really enjoyed Introduction to Server-Side Scripting this semester with Professor Raghav, because he's just a great professor. He cares about his students a lot, and also the class was very interesting. I feel like I learned a lot, and it combined concepts from other previous courses that we had taken. So it was a great class that I really enjoyed.
I think that leads into my next question I was going to ask you. I wanted to know who some of your favorite professors were. I know Raghav is always a shining star amongst everyone. I think he just won an award from the students at our annual snowball event. So I know that he's a student favorite for sure. But Nicola, do you have any other profs that you really loved?
Yeah, honestly, I would have to root for Raghav. He's that amazing that he needs to be mentioned again. He really did care for his students. I took his class first semester of this year. And he, if you email him, he would give you an extension, and like he really prioritized your mental health, and he sent you little care emails too. It was really, really sweet. I also used him as a resource to find out about new opportunities within the Faculty of Computer Science, especially with the online setting. It's not as easy, like the computer science building was completely closed. Like I didn't go in there once this year, which is really sad. But I've been there previous years, and I know that there's always like posters highlighting things that are going on campus and opportunities and things like that. And so because that was lacking this year, and because I didn't get the chance to do that, I found emailing Raghav, like we back and forth emails, and he would let me know, and he'd connect me to other profs too who I wouldn't have met otherwise. And yeah, he really does care for his students and everyone in the faculty.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that people follow our Faculty of Computer Science Instagram, because you might be seeing some videos of Raghav. He does have a tendency to make little funny rap songs and stuff about computer science. He's truly hilarious, and as part of some of the work that Yara and I will be doing, we will be featuring some of those pieces on our social media in the future. So if you want to laugh and you want a little, a little like 5-minute break from reality, he's really hilarious. I'm sorry, I can't remember who I have not yet asked the question to.
That'll be me. But yeah, so yeah, no, Raghav is really definitely one of the greater professors. And I think all of the three professors and doctors we have here, I've taken courses with all three of them as well. They're really great, amazing professors as well. I'll start by the list I see. So with Dr. Christian Blouin, our associate dean, I've taken Intro into Computer Systems, and he's really made a class which is pretty interactive, and I learned the basics of binary conversions and how data work, how storage works, and all of the computer science and sort of systems of what we don't see in the programming classes. And then Dr. Angela, I've taken like my very first programming course at Dal with. She's amazing professor. Like we'll have games in class, like she'll do visual displays with chairs of how to sort things out and how programs work. It's a really interactive way of teaching. And then with Dr. Ali Swarovski has taken over the last summer a Principle of Programming Languages course, which is a third-year course. But with the knowledge that Dr. Brodsky has, it was very interesting to learn through how programming languages work, how they're created, how the grammar of them works. So those are also some of our great professors, and apparently they're here too. So, yeah, that's what I say.
Yes, I definitely work probably closest with these three faculty members, and I can attest that they're wonderful people and that they really care about not only their faculty and staff members that work with them, but also their students, making sure that they're checking in to, especially this year, make sure that their students are okay on their workload and mental health. Okay, so we want to make sure that there's enough time for the open question and answer period. But the last thing I wanted to ask you guys is, what is a piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were a student who is maybe just graduating high school and about to pick a university or about to enter university? What's kind of your words of wisdom you would have given yourself a year or two ago when you were in these students' shoes? I'll start maybe with, again, Nicola, you're kind of the freshest of them. What was something that you wish you would have known about a year ago?
I definitely think that in general, you need to keep an open mind. Just be open to what people have to say and like advice you might receive. But at the same time, take it with a grain of salt, what everyone says about different universities. In the end, it's really your decision, and you need to just go out and see the world. It'll be a different experience either way. Like it really is a big change going to university, but all in all, it really is a lot of fun. So just enjoy the process, honestly.
Saul, do you want to go?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. So there's there's a lot of things people could say, but I think one of the most important things is to realize when you're looking at, choosing what you want to do is, I think when you're joining Dal throughout the whole of Atlantic Canada, you're joining a computer science program, which is at the top in our region. And I believe that, even when I joined versus whenever our other people here today are going to be joining, the number of people that are graduating through the system is not enough to fill the job. So there's always a surplus of jobs. So we need to fill them. And that's why Dal is doing a great job at increasing our computer science program every day. And the last thing I want to say is that when you're joining a computer science program, whether it's BCS or BACS, don't think you're limited to just computer science. We have a lot of options here which give you minors where you can, if you have an interest in bio but you don't want to be a doctor, but you can do a minor in bio or psychology or business for my sake, or even if you're interested into like the deep concepts of computer science, we have specializations which include data science and AI and whatnot. So, there's a lot of possibilities where you're not really just stuck into computer science, and there's a lot of ways you can engage with your degree, I guess.
Saul, I think almost you could just take over my job. You might even be better at it than me. Yara, do you want to round us out with your last piece of advice before we head over to our Q&A?
Sure. My piece of advice as a first-year student, or just a student going into university, would be to really just get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, because I feel like that is how you grow. And for me, going into computer science, I was very scared. Like I said earlier, that was very out of my comfort zone. I went into it anyway, and I loved it. All the jobs that I've done so far and all the volunteering that I've done, everything was extremely out of my comfort zone. I'm very introverted and afraid of public speaking, yet here I am today. And I think these things are really, through getting out of your comfort zone, you get to meet new people and you get to have these new experiences and these new opportunities, and you're exposed to so much more. And that's how you really make the most out of your university experience. And along the way, you'll always have your supports, whether that's your friends or your professors or your advisors. And so never be afraid to do what you want. So that would be mine.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming and agreeing to do this with us. I'm going to change over the presentation. So we'll be doing our Q&A now. I'm actually going to stop the slide so that we can have all the presenters up on screen to answer questions for a moment. And we do have questions. You can put questions in the Q&A box. I'm just going to change my view so I can see everyone. Okay, everyone. So I'm going to be throwing questions at you, depending on who the question might be best for. So the first question is, would you say that applied computer science focuses more on business rather than the actual computer science program? Like, would it be 60-40 or, and I think that this question might be best answered by Angela, considering she's the program director.
I'd be happy to take this one. It still focuses on computer science. So what we actually say as a percentage is 70-30, where the 70% is computer science, and then 30% business. So if you had to put a number to it, that's what it looks like. So it's still strongly a computer science degree, but with that business focus.
I was already unmuted. Perfect. Thank you so much, Angela. Here's one. I'm super excited about cybersecurity. What opportunities does Dal have to achieve a career in cybersecurity? I feel like this would probably, I don't know if it's best for Dr. Brodsky or nope, Christian.
I can take it. Cybersecurity is definitely an area of growth. There are more jobs, and not necessarily just a job in cybersecurity firms, but all sorts of industry needs experts in cybersecurity. Within our program, you can take a certificate that kind of allows to, when you go out to an employer, say, here's my certificate, I've taken this selection of courses that gives coverage. I'm also aware of many cybersecurity positions within the co-op program, but our students here who have gone through the co-op process are probably better placed in maybe commenting on the type and the quality and the nature of the position that they considered.
Perfect. Okay, I think I have one here for you, Lucas. This is a question from an international student who's going to be traveling here. So when they come, we probably assume that they'll have to quarantine. That's our current status here in Nova Scotia. So what helps and supports does the university have to make sure that when international students land here, and maybe even some of our out of province students land here, that they'll be helped accommodate for whatever COVID quarantine restrictions we have?
So that's actually, I really recommend that student in particular reach out to the admissions advisor for their particular area, and they'll have kind of all the information regarding what the university can do to help you as you come in and as you're quarantining, and also kind of give you some information about best practices as coming into Nova Scotia. As you know, on a province by province basis, the rules are different for every area. But yeah, the main thing would be to go to dal.ca/connect and get a hold of the admissions advisor for your specific area, and they'll be happy to kind of help you with that process.
Awesome. Okay. What is the practical versus theory ratio in Dal CS? And how often will you have hands-on experiences apart from being in the co-op program? Maybe this might be for Dr. Brodsky.
All right. So very broadly put, in the core computer science, I would say the ratio is about 50-50 in terms of foundational and theory courses to experiential and hands-on courses. So for example, data structures would be considered more a foundational course, whereas for example, software development is really a hands-on course. And so the Bachelor of Computer Science, that includes 5 math courses, which is much more foundational, but also particularly in the 3rd and 4th years where you have your CS electives, you can take many more hands-on courses. In terms of co-op, in my experience, pretty much all the positions are hands-on. The only exception is that many of our faculty do hire co-op students as research assistants, and so in those cases, those kind of jobs can be more foundational and more theory based than the industry co-op jobs.
Perfect.
Can I
Awesome.
add a small thing?
Go for it.
Can I? In the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, we have kind of this centerpiece that starts in year 2 and goes on to 3 and 4, where students from 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year form teams and work on real clients projects. So this is not co-op, this is very experiential because you work for a real human and have to deal with all of the dimensions of that. So, and that happens within the classroom.
Okay. Okay, here's an easy question. How many students would be in the first year class, incoming first year class, or any first year class, I guess, for us? Go for it. Yeah, that's definitely you, Christian.
Yeah, as the associate dean, I'm the number person. A lot of our sections in first year are in the 100 and 180 range. That's big for certain university. That's very small for other university. It really depends on the scale. But all of the classes are almost, I think all of the classes in first year have labs as well. And these labs are much smaller. We sort of designed the lab so there are 60. And so you get at most 60 people into this room. In our awesome history classes, so the fall and the winter one, it's really 20 students and 1 TA working with you throughout the entire year and improving your analytical skills as well as your writing skills. So lectures tend to be on the large side, and labs and tutorial tend to be on the fairly small from a university scale.
Yes. This actually might be good for our students, probably more Solon Yara, because it's about campus. Are most of your first year classes in the same area or building? And if not, how easy is it to get to the different buildings and around campus? Sorry, Nicola, unfortunately, you haven't been to campus. Well, you've been on campus, but I'd love to know about like the classes. Maybe Salyar, do one of you want to take that?
I can do that one.
Perfect.
Yeah, so the campus is really nice because it is a little smaller, so then all the buildings are very close to each other. So the majority of the classes were not in the same building, and a lot of them were actually not in the computer science building, but they were all very close. So some were in the arts and social sciences building, and then right across we have, oh, I forgot, but you have the computer science, but I haven't been on campus in a while. But they're very close, and it's just like a 2-minute walk, a 1-minute walk from each. You cross the street. And then some classes were a little further depending on what. So one class I had was like down the line that was like a 10-15-minute walk, but overall it's a 1 to 2 minute walk between all the buildings, which is great.
Perfect. Okay, I have a lot of questions here about specialization. So I think one thing that we need to talk about here in this Q&A space is the fact that you have 2 different degree programs, and then you don't necessarily get like your your major in something, but you can get specialist certificates. So I'm assuming one of the one of our wonderful program coordinators can talk about this process and kind of what different specializations and how you would go about that.
Sure, I'm happy to take that. So we have a variety of specializations, including specializations in cybersecurity, web development, game design, data science, and so on. And all of these specializations are structured in the same way. They focus on your third and fourth year courses. So a specialization is acquired by taking a specified third and fourth year courses that give you more depth in that field. So the good news is that you really don't need to decide what to specialize in really until your third or fourth year. You can have multiple specializations, or as Dalhousie calls them, certificates. So it's very common for students to get, for example, 2 certificates, one in cybersecurity and say another one in AI, or say gaming and graphics. And when you get these certificates, you don't need to declare the certificate until the very end of your degree. So even if you're in the middle of your degree and you decide to change, you have the flexibility to do so. And only when you graduate, you have to explicitly let us know which specializations you're declaring, so we can put that on your transcript.
Yeah, so I think for all of you guys who have asked questions about specializations in data analytics, in data sciences, in AI, that is kind of the answer to your question. Is you'll be looking at a certificate option that you can do well within your degree using different elective courses throughout your degree. So when you're going to want to start looking at that probably around, I think, after second year. Is that correct? I think most of them start in the third year courses. I see Saul shaking his head, so he's probably doing it. You're probably doing one as well. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm looking towards it. Yeah.
Perfect. I had a question here. Which computer programming languages would you recommend to learn before September to prepare for university? Maybe Dr. Siegel, do you want to grab that one?
Sure. As Saul mentioned, I tend to get people in that first semester. So I teach Intro to Computer Programming, in which we assume nothing of our students. So you don't have to have that prior programming experience before you get here. We do teach that course in Java, but if you arrive and you've never seen Java before, that's okay. There are a lot of fun languages to start you off. You could look at Java if you wanted, or you can also dabble in anything, like Python is another fun language. So if you want experience, you can go look for it. There's a lot of information on the web that you can start yourself off with, but you won't be at a disadvantage if you start with us, with me.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Christian, go for it.
Just a small comment just to add, if you already have the programming skills covered by Intro to Programming, that's not a core course. You don't have to take that one. And you can go directly into Introduction to Computer Science. I would say about 2/3 of our students take the Intro to Programming. And what, a quarter of the students who go for Intro to Computer Science change their mind in the first 2 weeks and then go into Intro to Computer Programming. So that's the most common path. I think Alex has a comment.
Hey, just to add to Christian's addition, I believe on our website there's a small self-assessment test that you can do to decide whether you want to go into Introduction to Programming or Introduction to Computer Science.
Yes. And I think Yara mentioned when she was speaking that she didn't have any programming experience going in, and she's doing quite all right for herself. I mean, she just landed her first co-op term, so she's doing great. This one, we've had a few questions about, can I shift to the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science from the Bachelor of Computer Science? Yes, you can. that's the shift from Bachelor of Computer Science to Bachelor of Applied Computer Science is a little bit of an easier shift. It requires academic math. If that is something that you want to look into, you can contact your recruiter, or you can contact Lucas and he will get you to the right people. And you can shift that before you start picking out all of your classes for the next term. So that answers a few of those questions.
Yeah, when in doubt, go to dal.ca/connect, figure out who would be the proper advisor for your region. And then people always think they're bothering us by sending us emails like that, asking it. It's not bothering us. That's what we do all day long. We're happy to help figure out the best pathway for you.
Yes. Go for it, Christian.
Sorry, Amanda, I talk all the time because I'm teaching the Prive this year. We design our 2 degrees, so the overlap in the first 2 years is very big. So even if you change your mind in the first year and a half or even 2 years, there's nothing lost. It's just core courses become elective and so on and so forth. So it's not a decision that is irreversible that you have to do right now.
Yes. And I also see someone in here is looking for the link to the latest degree requirements. So you can find that on the admissions page. I think maybe Lucas is going to find that for you, but you can find that on the page. The basis is that for Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, you need an academic math, an academic English, and 3 other academic courses. And for the Bachelor of Computer Science, you need pre-calculus, academic English, and 3 other academic courses. And if you need to figure out what the conversion is for whichever province or country you come from, you can also, it'll also say contact Lucas, or it'll say right on the website as well. This one, I really like it because it's not about academics at all. Are there any sports programs at Dal? So I'm not sure, do any of our students, like, have you participated in any of the like intramurals? Oh, Nicola, I see a Nicola hand.
Yes, I am very much an advocate for balancing physical health, especially with school. Actually, I'm working at the Dalplex this summer, which is like the gym on campus, or on Sexton campus. No, Studley campus. My bad. Still learning the campuses, you know. I also joined the cheer team at the beginning of the year, but unfortunately, due to COVID, that kind of shut down. And I also conveniently, from my dorm room, had a really good view of the field. And so the field, especially, is somewhere to go, you know, just on a really nice day. Like there were always people on the field, you know, playing soccer, playing that game with the net in the middle and you spike the ball down. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, no, being active during the semester is definitely important and should be prioritized, just, you know, your physical health. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of sports teams and opportunities to do things like that.
Lucas, did you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I can add on to that in that, you know, we have options for if you're really looking to be competitive and compete in athletics at a high level. We have varsity level teams in things like basketball, and I could go on. There's too many to list, but we also have club level teams as well for students who are looking to balance that sort of competitive athletic side and their studies. So to give you an example, my little sister is a 4th year student in a different faculty altogether in radiological technology, which is quite a demanding program. And she still had time to compete in club level lacrosse. And they went on to win the women's Dalhousie team won the championship last year. So we're all very proud of that, but there's plenty of opportunities, whether it's club or varsity level, to compete with athletics at Dalhousie. And as a part of your tuition, as Nicola mentioned earlier, you get access to the Dalplex, which is a state-of-the-art facility with all kinds of, whether it's workout machines, whether it's different facilities. There's a swimming pool. There's, again, so many facilities. I can't name them all right here, but that's all included with your tuition.
Perfect. Okay, there's just so many questions coming in. Okay, so I think one that I keep seeing over and over again is, what programming languages should I expect to learn throughout my degree at Dal? I feel like this will definitely have to come from the faculty side, since none of these students have gotten the whole way through their degree yet.
I can very quickly take this one. So I'd like to preface this by saying that hopefully that by the time you finish your degree, which languages you know will not matter, because you'll be able to easily pick up any programming language that you will need to do the job. But some of the programming languages that are used in our programs include Java, Python, PHP, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. There's a C program. A couple courses use C programming, and one question is assembly. And as well, there's a course that uses the R programming language, as well as there are higher level courses that use, for example, MATLAB, or you program in Unity and other scripting languages like that.
Perfect. We just got another question that's not academic related, and it's about, are there any clubs other than sports clubs? So societies fall under this purview, and we have two within the Faculty of Computer Science, the Women in Technology Society, as well as the Computer Science Society. But there are also other societies related to culture and interests. So Lucas might be able to give us a few examples.
Yes.
Regularly too.
There's over 400 different clubs and societies at Dalhousie. And I often say when I'm talking to students, it's literally impossible for there not to be one of interest to your particular interest, because if it doesn't exist already, you have the opportunity to create a new one. So whether it's, the Tea Drinkers Society is one of the more kind of out there ones off the top of my head, or kind of more faculty specific ones like the Nurses Society and things like that. There's something of interest for everybody. And even beyond that, there's opportunities to get involved on campus in things like the student union that kind of go outside of the typical clubs and societies. So tons of opportunity to get involved with extracurriculars, whether they're not athletic.
Perfect. Okay, I see a ton of questions in here about taking a minor while taking computer science. Is it possible? Is it doable? What kind of minors can I take? I see one about business. I see one about science. Does anyone want to comment about being able to take another minor while you're doing your computer science? I see Christian pointing at Alex, and I also believe, Saul, are you taking a business minor as well?
Yeah, I'm taking a business minor with my Bachelor of Computer Science degree. And I mean, just before we hand it off to Dr. Alex, but there's a huge list of minors that you can take, anywhere from chemistry, psychology. I think there's data, I think it's bioinformatics, and there's a huge list. I think maybe Dr. Alex has a better description for it.
Actually, Saul, you took the words right out of my mouth. So if you go to the university calendar, there's a section on minors which lists all the minors, and it's probably, I'd say, about 40 different minors at minimum, from Arabic languages to bioinformatics, biology, chemistry, all the way down to statistics. And I think there may even be one in zoology if I can get my entire alphabet down. Most minors require you to take 6 courses at the 2000 and above level. So both the Bachelor of Computer Science, the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science have at least 9 elective slots that you can use for that minor. I would recommend meeting with an advisor probably in your first year to plan out your minor so that you can fit in all the courses at the right time. And I would encourage everyone to do a minor, because I think it's a really good complement to your computer science degree.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of questions about this in my email box with people who have a secondary passion to computer science. And because computer science and technology is kind of taking over our world, there's so many ways I think that different degrees can interact with computer science that it is kind of a natural fit. I even have students who are taking music as a minor for computer science, which I think is such an interesting dynamic of two different passions that you have. Here's one that I think we get a lot. how much math is involved in a computer science degree and then a Bachelor of Computer Science degree? And would you say it's like less or more than other sciences? Who wants to take the math question?
Well, I would be happy to. So I did my undergraduate degree in science, and then moved towards computer science. So I will say it's probably about the same level as a standard science course. There are 5 math courses in the Bachelor of Computer Science. I teach one of them, and it's a bundle of fun. So, but our math courses are designed to be in computer science. So I teach discrete mathematics, but we're trying to put it in your field. And so we are really thinking about how that math is applicable to you and everything you're going to do in the future. So if you're choosing applied computer science, there's less math. In fact, what we do is we take those 5 math courses that would typically be required in a computer science degree or in the Bachelor of Computer Science degree, and we replace those with courses within management. And so that's the biggest point of where these two programs diverge. So if you're really into the math, computer science might be the course for you. If you're really interested in working with how you problem solve in the greater space, but not as keen to take all those math courses, applied computer science is also an option.
Okay. Any other comments on the big math question? Or did Angela cover it? Go for it, Christian.
Just briefly, and Angela already has said that, but I want to emphasize, we this year transitioned from sending CS students to the math department to take math classes to actually rolling out our math embedded within computer science. The content is really about the same in terms of what is the mathematic foundation. You're not losing anything, but it's much easier to understand why you need these things, and therefore easier to remember them for a long time when you know why you need them.
Okay. I have an easy one here that I can quickly answer. Is there a Women in Technology Club? Yes, there is. We have our Women Tech Club. Both Yara and Nicola mentioned it when they were chatting. They are an amazing club that offer mentorship, study opportunities, study buddy kind of opportunities. They do a ton of great events. I've been to some of them. They hold, I think, monthly meetings as well, so you can attend those. So yes, very easy question, done. Okay, I actually have one here for Yara. Because you've just gotten your co-op job, someone here is asking kind of what the process is to apply to co-op. So like, when do you do it? And what has been the process since you started, from like applying to co-op to getting this job?
So it all starts with where Nicola's at right now, where you applied for the program in the start. And then once you go into your second year, once I went into my second year in my first semester, so last semester, we had a co-op course where they help you build your resume, build your cover letter, help you apply for a study permit if you're an international student, all the basics that you need for co-op, basically. And then in your second semester, the job competition, I guess, starts, which starts in the very beginning of second semester, so in January. And then you get access to a career portal where they post all the jobs that you can apply for, and you can apply to as many as you want. And you can also apply outside of that. So you're not restricted to that career portal that Dal provides, but you can apply through LinkedIn or Glassdoor or whatever you want to use. And then once you do apply, you get interviews from some companies. And so you interview with those companies. If they like you, you get the job. And that's basically how it is. And as for the application process, you would submit usually your transcripts, your cover letter, and your resume. And then that's generally the package. And then if you want, you can like connect with the recruiters on LinkedIn or however, or email them get in contact with them. And yeah, but basically at a first year level, I found that you just have one interview that you do. And then if you pass that interview, you get the job. But yeah, that's basically it.
Mhm. Yes, and then once you're in the program, you're going to summer term, you're about to start your first work term, and then you'll be doing a class term, you'll go back to school and go back to class, and then you'll do another work term, class, work term, class. So the schedule for it is weaving work and class in together. So you don't do like 3 straight work terms, you do some classwork in the middle. So that answers a few of those questions. There's more questions in the chat box than we'll ever be able to answer. So I'm going to do a few last minute questions, and then I'll also, Lucas and I will pop up emails that you can contact for the rest of your questions that we didn't get to. Unfortunately, you guys are just too engaged. Oh yes, Lucas is actually in the top of his little thing. Mine's going to be on the slide that I'll pop back up right before the end. There, I have a student here who says math isn't his strongest subject. Is there a place on campus that he can go to get math help and math tutoring during some of his classes?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. Actually, we have a lot of support within all of our core classes. We'll typically have TAs available, either within tutorials or labs, and we often have office hours. So when I was teaching discrete math, I had every day of the week, there was a TA support that you could go to. There's also a learning center where we have TAs manning it throughout the week. And so any of your core courses are supported. And I think the students would have a lot to say about that, but I think that's such a resource that we provide.
Yeah, I mean, we have a TA online with us right now.
Yeah, just to add to that, I know TAs are, I think when I was not a TA before that, are your best tool if you don't understand something outside class. And with the Learning Center, that's like the greatest tool you have if you don't understand something. There's TAs throughout the day, even after classes. So you don't necessarily have to wait for a professor. And, if you think that your experience is only limited to in person with the Learning Center, we have a Discord Learning Center where we're online like all the time. So, you shoot a question, somebody's there to help you.
Not only that, your profs are very happy to help as well. So come see us. We're not too scary.
No, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question here. Are there any scholarships that you can get if you like in second year or onward in our program or at Dal? So maybe Lucas, can you comment to the at Dal piece, and then we can speak to the in computer science piece.
Right. So for the at Dal piece, first and foremost, there's the entrance awards, scholarships, and bursaries. And so those are all kind of applied for through a single application that you would fill out the year of you're applying. So basically, for the 2021 fall start date, you would have had to already have submitted that application by March, because that was when the deadline was. So that's how you're considered for the 1,400 different individual entrance awards that Dal offers. You still have the opportunity to apply for bursaries, and I'm sure you guys will clarify this a little bit more. After you begin at Dal, that's when you start to be looked at for in-course scholarships.
Okay. I have, and then here in the Faculty of Computer Science, we have several internal scholarships as well that you can apply for. Our applications are the same as the normal Dalhousie scholarship applications, but they are separate. So you would apply starting in December, and then you have till March, just like the regular Dalhousie scholarships. And then you're assessed and you'll be notified in April, the same time as the rest of the people would be assessed for their scholarships with Dalhousie as well. So there are several that you can win internally as well. Okay, I'm trying to get through like as many quick questions. Can you take an honors degree in a Bachelor of Computer Science?
Yes. Go ahead, Alec.
I was going to say, yes, you can. We recommend that you speak with an honors advisor at the end of your second year or third year. an honors degree involves being an honors thesis and taking a couple additional fourth-year courses as part of the degree. And just like with minor, we recommend planning it out usually before the start of your third year so that you can make sure that you have enough time to do both the required courses and the honors thesis. And we encourage this because it's a great way to get involved in research in the faculty. And we are very strong proponents of having students working in undergraduate research. We're trying to get more and more of that in the faculty. Christian, you want to add?
No, you did an awesome job, but I would like to boost that what's really one of the many really special thing about coming to university is the people who teach you are researchers, and many of them are researchers. And so that means that, yes, they know computer science. They can teach any computer science classes, but you also have the opportunity to learn from people that are at the edge of knowledge in their area. And I think that being able to walk away not only with a bachelor, but also with some experience at being beyond what courses are giving to you really gives an edge, even if you don't want to become a researcher.
Okay, I have one final question. I think this is like maybe one of the more asked questions here. What companies are hiring our co-op students? So Saul, you said MNP is where you're working for the next week at least, or where you have been working all semester. Yara, where can you share where you got hired?
Oh, I'm going to be working at SimplyCast, which is a local tech company in Dartmouth.
Perfect. I know of students who are working at Code Ninjas, so they help teach young kids coding skills and do fun workshops with them. I also know of students who are working in our Supernova, DAL Supernova Center, which also helps with educating younger students on different tech skills. Christian, do you have a few companies highlighted that you can think of?
We have larger, I mean, IBM has a facility in Halifax. And the point that I want to make is Nova Scotia has been a place where tech companies are converging for a variety of reasons, largely because they are graduates coming out of Dalhousie. And there's a real mix from very well-known companies, the Google and the Twitter, but these positions are actually not the majority. There is lots of companies that you've never heard of that are doing really exciting and interesting stuff that are not necessarily multinational corporations and can be fairly small and gives a really, really different work experience.
Awesome. And I think that one last thing that we should mention, maybe Lucas, if you want to take this, is DAL expected to be online or in person?
Yes. So we've officially announced that we are expected to be fully in person in the fall. Of course, those things are subject to change. So if everything continues to go well, we'll be in person in the fall. If COVID-20 comes out and we have to reset all over again, then no, we will not be. So the best thing to do, the best practice is to keep your eyes on your email. We'll certainly let you know if there's any changes in policy. As well, there is dal.ca/COVID. And that has all the most up-to-date information concerning the latest COVID-19 restrictions and how they affect Dalhousie. Here at Dal, we always operate under the advice of public health. So where public health goes, we follow accordingly.
Can I add a small bit about computer science?
You can do that, Christian.
We are making sure that if we can be in person, we'll be in person. We'll have classroom, we'll have labs. But we know that it's an unpredictable year. And if we need to pivot, we'll pivot and we'll make it work. And even if it means it's only labs we can do in person, then that's what we'll do. But we know how important it is to interact with humans.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to share my screen again so that you can have my email address if you need it. My email address is here at the bottom. It's cs.admissions@dal.ca. So any of those questions we didn't get to, I think there was like still 39 or so that we didn't get to because you guys just had so many awesome questions. And then if you also pin Lucas's screen, you can see his email up there as well. So he can answer a lot of questions as well. So please do send your emails through tonight, and I can hopefully answer as many as I can tomorrow morning while when I get up to work. So Lucas, do you want to take us away?
Yes. Well, so thank you so much, everyone, for sticking around for the whole presentation. A couple notes before we go tonight. First and foremost, we're going to be doing a prize draw from the Dalhousie bookstore. I'll probably be doing that tomorrow, and we already have all your emails because you signed up to attend this presentation. So I will be getting in touch with the lucky winner tomorrow. The other things is that if you were really engaged by this whole session and you want more material about the computer science faculty, just head down to the dal.ca/preview days page. We have all kinds of content you can interface with, including sample lectures and a ton more stuff if you want to take an even deeper dive on computer science. And if you're looking for even more stuff about Dalhousie at large, we have a bunch of events happening at dal.ca/future student events, including welcome sessions to get you oriented with the university, as well as content that you're going to be able to watch at your own time, including financing your education session and more. And just to piggyback on what Amanda said, if you have any questions specifically about Dalhousie admissions, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm going to be able to answer a little bit less about the specifics of computer science, but in terms of Dalhousie admissions as a whole, don't hesitate to email me at lucas.mancini@dal.ca.
I just have one more thing. Sorry about this, Lucas. As you can see, I'm losing daylight, so it's good that this is coming to a close. But also watch out in your email inboxes for students who are confirmed to come for September for the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science and Bachelor of Computer Science. We will be hosting registration sessions with our advisors to help walk you through what courses you need to register for and make sure that you're registering for all the right courses and you know how to do that. So watch out for that. That'll be in June when registration opens.
That's right. And similarly, we'll have register on track sessions as well. So that's all. Thank you so much for joining us this evening or morning or wherever you're watching from. A reminder that an archived version of this session will be up later if you missed a part or if you want to watch it all over again. But without further ado, goodbye, everybody. Have a lovely, like I said, morning or evening.